Extremely okay games, most famous for developing Celeste.
God tier game. So, we've been hit with a devastating game cancellation. If you've not played Celeste before, highly recommend it. Incredible game. Amazing game. Evil game. It will fucking destroy your life. Especially if you go play some of the community content, which is just ridiculous. But very fun. The community content, not. The game, yes.
Announced that their next game, Earthblade, has been canceled.
Okay.
Just completely outright canceled. And this is devastating news. This is really
Hello. How's it going?
difficult news. Celeste really is one of the best games I have ever played.
If you like precision platformers, I can't think of another game as good as Celeste. Super Meat Boy, arguably. But, like, I like Celeste more. I think Celeste is a better game than Super Meat Boy. But they are both incredible games. If you like precision platformers and you haven't played Celeste, play Celeste. Just stop doing anything you're doing and play Celeste.
Just the design, the movement, all of its systems, just every element works together in such perfect harmony. It's a pixel perfect experience. And the level design...
Actually true. Actually true pixel perfect experience. You will get very, very close to some things, and there are, especially in some of the community stuff, there is frame perfect maps. Some of them are human beatable. Others are just to show off how ridiculous this game is if you play it with a Taz.
Particular is just, it is so just immaculate, almost like confusingly amazing. You know what I mean? And
did his video footage die? Why did the video break?
And of course, just like the story and
YouTube, what are you doing?
Extremely okay games, most famous. And then of course, just like the story and how it delivers its story and how everything culminates and what it all means, and I don't know.
I don't know what happened there.
It's a really, really exceptional game. And so they revealed Earthblade at the Game Awards in 2021, so a little over 3 years ago.
Is that long ago?
I mean, that was really, really exciting. And they gave us a little trailer, and it looked just really cool. The art style was really cool, looked really promising.
Is he gonna show the trailer? No. Let's watch this trailer. There were some frame perfect tricks the community found. The dev said, fuck it. Yeah. We'll keep it, even make a level based around it. Yep. Look at this game. It was going to be probably, I assume, a Metroidvania game. I don't see how a game that's like this isn't a Metroidvania game, but Metroidvania with Celeste level platforming. Yeah, I do like the vibes of this game a lot more than Celeste. I remember seeing this when it came out. It looked really cool. Super cool looking game. Super cool looking game.
And it seemed that this was probably going to be
and the pixel art
a bit more of
always looks on point. Yeah.
Like an open kind of metroidvania type experience or something along those lines, which was incredibly exciting.
What are you doing?
Because again, the level design in Celeste is so perfect. But that's a largely linear game, at least in the overall structure. So the idea of taking that same design sense, that same just like skill, and applying it to like a bigger, more open space, it was just, yeah, the potential was just massive. And when they revealed it, they said that they were still really early in development, and so it would probably be a long time before it came out. And that was a bummer, but, you know, like, I was willing to wait because I, you know, trust this team and these designers just completely. I knew it would be amazing. And so, yeah, again, just hearing that after waiting all this time, and, you know, I haven't been, like, following updates or anything, but it seemed like it seemed to have been going well.
Okay.
So if I ever did remember it, it was always like, oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the game at all. Like, I saw the announcement and it kind of just like went on the back burner.
That'll be out one of these days.
Silk Song.
Yeah, it's just
Silk
not
Song.
coming anymore. And they put a blog post on their website detailing the entire thing. It's kind of a big situation. Basically, there was a dispute regarding ownership of the Celeste IP within the company. And that kind of created some problems. It kind of created a divide between the team.
Right.
One of the primary members split off. And it is really disappointing to hear that. I think it's always particularly sad when you have a lot of artists and all they want to do is...
Can you imagine the chaos online when a Silk Song cancellation gets posted? That would be so fucking crazy. Yeah, how long's it been since Silk Song got announced? Hi, Body on Games. Hi, Ales astically eared. I don't even if that did happen, I don't think they would even say it. Because I know there was gameplay for Celeste in 2019. And, Silk Song in 2019.
Make cool art, and then very non-art things get in the way. You know, I mean, even just the words IP ownership, the fact that there was a dispute about this. We don't have all the details. They didn't give us all the details. It's really not that important, but it is just so... upsetting to know that the creation of this piece of art was disrupted because of something so, like, just business. You know? It's a shame when business gets in the way.
Yeah.
But again, they didn't really they didn't give a lot of details, and they said that this split was actually amicable. There is no one person that is to blame. Nobody is being vilified. Nobody needs to be angry at anybody. This is just kind of something that happened, and it wasn't just that. That kind of brought things to a head, and it made the remaining team realize that the project just wasn't really working out.
Right.
You know, apparently there was I mean, obviously there was a lot of pressure to make this game really, really good because Celeste was so wildly popular.
Yep.
And so I guess they felt they needed to make it something even bigger and better. And
that's completely understandable, right? Like, how... Celeste was a massive game. Did it sell well initially? I actually don't know. Because I know it's really popular now, but I don't know if it was popular when it came out. Yeah, when it peaked... Oh, interesting. Okay, wait. That's actually a very interesting graph. So... okay. So, when it came out, it wasn't really... Like, it had people, like, it had 1,000 people, which is really good for an indie game, right? Then it was in a Humble Bundle, did quite well. Then it was in another Humble Bundle. Then it was in AGDQ. And it really popped off with that Humble Bundle in 2024. Okay. Because I would have played it around here-ish? Somewhere in this range, I think. Oh, and the Switch version as well. Yeah. Maybe it was a lot more popular on console than it was on PC.
It kind of ballooned a little bit out of scope. They built up the team, and it seems that eventually they just reached a point where they realized it wasn't really working, and they weren't really enjoying the process anymore. And it was still possible that if they kept going, they could eventually finish it, and maybe it would even be good. But they just didn't want to anymore. And you know what? Like, we armchair analysts, you know, and fans, disappointed fans, we can think that we know what's best. You know, we can think like, oh, that's ridiculous. If you had already put, you know, over 3 years of work into it, how could it not be worth it to just finish? How could that possibly be right?
Yeah, people will definitely say this, but if there is some fundamental flaw, if there is some design decision, like if you have a design conflict and one person wants to do one thing, another person wants to do another thing, even if it's been going for 3 years, you might hit a point where you can't progress anymore. Like that is entirely possible.
But this is one of those things where, like, we really do just have to trust.
God, I
remember
this zone very, very
they really
distinctly.
Would know better than anybody, and you know, and it's like they've even said they were not as far along as they would want to be after that much time. So, clearly something wasn't really working, and I would say that this decision was brave, incredibly brave.
A lot of developers would just, like, go silent. They would just say, well, hey, the game was announced, and then at some point, just vanish. Maybe take down the Steam page for, like, announcing it, things like that, but not making any public announcement. There's so many games, and so many anime, and so many of every other thing, where it just disappears at some point.
There are plenty of people who would be in a situation like that, and they would fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy and be like,
all
no,
that as well.
We already spent so much on this. We have to finish. We absolutely have to. But if it...
FF versus 13. Yeah, versus 13. Speaking of things I'm sad about, versus 13. I wish we got versus 13. And maybe we'll get a Verum Rex game at some point. Maybe they'll let Nomura do that. But I've made it very clear how I feel about Verum Rex. How I feel about versus 13.
Really was the right decision.
We did. It's called FF15. Yeah. That's a game that exists. Yeah. Ask Ren how he feels about 15. He's a big fan of FF15.
To just cut their losses, as painful as that might be, and just stop. That takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts to look at the last...
I forgot how ridiculous some of the jumps in this game were. Like, this is just, like, the base story. Having not played Celeste in a long time, seeing this fucking movement... Like, this thing down here...
It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts.
Like, what is that? I forgot how fucking fast this game gets at some points.
It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts to look at the last, 3-4 years of your career, of your life, of your artistic expression, and to just be like, it's kind of just gone. I mean, that's not to say that they can't use anything of all of this.
Sure.
This isn't like when a big company scraps a project, and they're like, well, we still own all of the assets and the IP.
Yeah, they could probably, like, whoever's still around, whatever they want to do, they could probably still take the code base, whatever systems they built for Celeste, whatever systems they built for Earthblade, and maybe do something from that. But I don't know, like, we'll have to wait and see if anything actually comes out of the team after this.
And we're gonna, either bury it so no one can use it ever again, or we're gonna torch it all so that we can write it off on our taxes. There might still be work here, concepts,
sure,
that they might be able to use moving forward. I really don't know. I'm just saying that if this was the right decision, then it took a lot of guts. It really did. And again, like, from our perspective, certainly from my perspective of the disappointed fan, someone who's been waiting for this game for years and had such high hopes for it, like, yes, this is hard. It is really hard.
That, I'm sure, is part of the concern with Silksong as well, where people have such high expectations for it. And, like, Silksong needs to be to Hollow Knight what Elden Ring was to Dark Souls, where I don't know a single person that has played Elden Ring who doesn't think it's the best Souls-like. And if they don't think it's the best Souls-like, usually they'll say Sekiro, which is in a slightly different class. But in, like, the line of Dark Souls games, I don't think I've seen a single person that thinks any of the other games are better. And it needs, like, Silksong will need to be that. And I feel like the Earthblade devs, the Celeste devs, probably are getting some of those same vibes. Thoughts on FF Type 0? Never actually played it. I do have a copy of it, though.
Really looking forward to this game. Like I said, I wasn't, like, keeping up on it because I knew it was going to be a while, so I was, like, kind of trying not to think about it, like, the idea of this game and who was working on it was so exciting. I kind of just had to put it out of my mind. I couldn't afford the mental energy to even think about it. I already have, like, Haunted Chocolatier. I already regret how much energy I spend just waiting for that game. So
Haunted Chocolatier. That name's ringing a bell. Why is it ringing a bell? Concerned Ape. Oh, the Stardew developers. Oh, I see.
I was doing a pretty good job of...
would you play the I Will Kill Chaos game? I will play it at some point. I don't know if I want to... Like, I don't know if I want to stream it. I can stream it. Hi. Tails, you said hi like twice now. I definitely could stream it.
Trying to just not be like, it'll come when it comes, but like it really was one of my most highly anticipated games, and yeah,
it's
and apparently
Ren.
it was originally announced it was gonna come out in 2024, and yeah, I didn't even realize that we passed 2024 and it didn't happen, and I guess, I don't know, if anything, that probably helped them make this decision. Probably helped them to just be like, all right, we've passed our original release date, which was already years after the reveal, and we still just haven't made enough progress. So yeah, they did what they had to do, and yeah, and I'm trying to say, like, sure, there's our perspective, there's the disappointment that we feel, but that can't even
this segment
hold a candle to what the team is going through right now. I'm sure. Like, if it feels like a loss to us, I can barely imagine how much of a loss it feels to them. And like, I'm sure there is the element where there's also relief as well. Like, they're saying that, like, this split, it was amicable, it needed to happen, and they're doing what they need to do. And so there is an element of relief to kind of just like, just all of that pressure, just kind of taking that off, and they're returning to smaller projects. They're already like prototyping and having fun. They're going back to
well, that's good then.
Just that like pure artistic expression of just having fun and seeing what might work. So there is like good to come of this. I'm sure they feel relieved in that way. But I'm sure that this is still very hard for them. I'm sure that this is still a very big loss. I'm hoping that Celeste did well enough that they are still okay financially, even after, you know, not putting out a game for all these years and then kind of starting new now. I hope they're still in a place where they are financially secure and they can...
If they're considering starting new now, I would assume that they probably still have enough. And Celeste is probably still selling enough where it is still viable. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be starting something new.
Still just kind of work on whatever they want to work on. But even if that's the case, just artistically, it really has to be a very big blow. I just can't even imagine. I can't even... It's actually hard to wrap my brain around, just pouring your heart and soul into something for years of your life, and just to have it just kind of not work out. So, I don't know.
Yep.
My thoughts go out to the devs, and, you know, I hope that overall this ends up being a positive thing for them, and that they can just move into the next thing and maybe find a project that works a lot better. I mean, like, I don't know. It seems like just rebooting development was not really on the table. It's almost a little surprising they didn't just take what they have and just say, like, we just need to rethink it, we need to reimagine it, and just like rein in the scope a little bit. But I don't know, maybe it seems that they just don't want to.
I would assume there is some difference in artistic vision and what they want to do with the game
at all. They want to leave the whole thing behind. Maybe they just don't think they can salvage it as a project, or maybe just creatively they're just kind of done with it and want to do something else completely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would be my assumption.
I don't know what their next thing that they do will end up being, but whatever it is and whenever it comes, I'm sure that it will be great.
Hopefully.
I'm completely certain that it will be very, very amazing. And sure, it's disappointing to have to wait even longer for it, but I will wait as long as I need to, because I'm just that confident.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I would much rather the game... If the game is garbage, if the game is not ready, if the game is not going to happen, I would much rather it be just scrapped than, you know, release something that's kind of half-baked. Wasn't one of the main reasons it got canned was because of Celeste. That's what was being said, yeah. I don't know, like... I hope that whatever they can do turns out to be good after this. I do hope they come back, because Celeste is such a good game. I don't know. I would really like... I still would like to play Earthblade, and maybe something comes out of that IP. But, you know... It is what it is.